So,
Yeah.
welcome to today's Business Spotlight, where we are joined by Hitesh of Twin Pine Mortgages Limited. Hi, Hitesh, how you doing?
Hi, Hannah. Thank you very much. I'm very well. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. I've been excited to speak to you. Now, I don't like to delay at all. I dive straight in with my first question, which is tell us what you do and how long you've been doing it for, please.
Yeah, great. I do mortgages. Sounds
Mhm.
simple, but it's a very complex thing. Mortgage, I would say, is something necessary evil that everyone's going to need it in some point in their life. And the complexity and so many moving parts involved and everything. My job is to make your mortgage life easier as possible. And the great thing about my job is to, when somebody gets key in their hands and they own in their house first time, I've been doing a job for over 10 years, as you asked for. But
Oh,
every time when the mortgage goes through and someone's get the keys in their hand, I get the same excitement as I did for first time.
it must be so rewarding because it's the biggest purchase that you will ever make, they say, isn't it? So it must be so rewarding to go through that journey with them, and then for them to hold the keys and say thank you for making my dreams come true. Oh my gosh, that made me feel like I was actually saying it then, but it's huge.
It's a big thing, and I mean, people who already own the houses, probably we do take things for granted, but people who's looking to buy their first home,
Oh,
only they knows the nervousness, the anxiety, excitement, everything's going at the same time, and
mm.
you need somebody's to hold your hand to take you through that process. And that's where we come, because we've been doing this for many years and we understand what it takes to get the mortgage to go through. And trust me, there is no 2 days are the same day when it comes to mortgage side.
No,
No.
no. I can imagine. We were having a quick chat before we hit the record button. With everything that's going on at the moment, plus what COVID sort of threw at you with the stamp duty holiday, I can't even imagine what a day in the life of Hitesh the mortgage broker's like.
Yeah. So in the last well in the last 3 years, the mortgage market has changed, seen so many changes that probably you would not seen it in since financial crash in 2008.
Wow.
So it's a massive roller coasters that the mortgage market and property market's gone through.
Mm.
Um, but we come into this period where I would like to think that things are starting to settle down, and hopefully we'll see some stability in property market.
Oh, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Now, you say you've let us know that you've been in the business for 10 years. What motivated you to start it, though?
Like most of us, we fall into these professions not by choice, well, by choice as well, but one thing leads to another.
Mm.
So I've started my banking career back in 2010, after being made redundant from previous place where I used to work in a retail. So I moved away from retail, gone into retail banking.
Okay.
And I've done the retail banking for a couple of years. And then next, the progression would have been to mortgage advisor. Always wanted to do that, because when I applied for my mortgage many years back in a 98, I went to see mortgage advisor wearing a tie and suit and everything.
Yeah.
And the first thing came in my mind, I was only 23 then, to to say, wow, what an amazing job. That person holds so much power to get your
Mm.
mortgage through and everything. And I'm always curious about mortgage advisor's job. And actually, I had opportunity to apply for mortgage advisor's career while I was working for this financial institute back in 2010. That's how I applied, and I never looked back.
Never looked back from there. So working with them, sort of under the security of a financial institute that that would offer support and security and consistency. What made you step outside of that and start your own business? Such a huge step.
it is a huge step. And since I became a mortgage advisor, I worked for a couple of years, and then I realized that it would be good to start my own business as a mortgage brokerage, because then you open up so many opportunities and different things that you can do it. But actually, I never had the courage to leave a paid job. The paid job is gives you that security, that every month there's a certain amount of money coming in and you feel comfortable. But another thing is, you don't grow in a comfortable zone. So coming back to COVID, and in a COVID, the place I work, they decided that they no longer needs branch-based mortgage advisors. So they got rid of the whole branch-based mortgage advisors. There were about 80, 90 of us with supporting staff and everyone. And it came with a bit of redundancy money as well, as I worked for, over 10 years. So I thought, right, this is a perfect opportunity, though it's in the middle of COVID, but I'm not going to have this opportunity again in my life. And if I want to do something, I'll do it now. So we started in January 2021.
Oh, wow. Oh, gosh. So your hand was forced, but you've never looked back. So it's
No,
it's all positive. Tell me, Hitesh, has it been everything that you hoped it would be since 2021?
Yes and no.
Okay.
There's nothing black and white, is it? There's always something in there that you like, something in there that you don't like. Overall, yes, everything what I hope for. Um, the biggest rewarding thing being your own boss is to, you could juggle the different things in your own time, your diary. How big you want to take your business to, or how much small you want to keep it to. It all depends on what your ambitions and everything is. But we started a business during the COVID months, so the journey is it's a difficult journey. COVID finished, and then we gone into Ukraine war, cost of living going up, and then you had a mini budget. That's been a year, believe me or not.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and since then the interest rates hikes going on. As I mentioned before we start recording, 11 consecutive rates hikes. So that did have a knock-on impact on a mortgage market. People perceptions to, do I want to go ahead and purchase property now, or shall I wait? So there was a lot of uncertainty, a lot of turmoil in market, but it's a learning curve. However, I always says we here for a long game. So you just sit tight. You've seen these sort of storms before. It'll pass, and things will calm down.
Yeah, ride the storm. It's interesting you say we've seen this before, so it will pass. That's such a great reminder. Such a great reminder. What would you say makes you stand out in your industry?
Right, this is going to be tricky, but let me try to answer the best I can. So the one of thing that we concentrate is where we live, in a Coventry area. So, living in a Coventry, I've been lived in Coventry for 25 years. Yeah. So I have a very good knowledge of Coventry and surrounding areas. I would say 15, 20 miles surrounding Coventry. I understand the demography. I understand the kind of jobs people do, and the kind of challenges they have as well when it comes to buying a property, mortgage, remortgage. So having that extensive knowledge within the area, you could provide that extra support to your client. So any other brokers who's maybe they national brokers, they talk to you over the phone, but they're not necessarily based in your hometown, would not have those detailed knowledge about the area and demography and work, employment, those sort of things. They would not have that great information to work on. So that gives extra edge to us. And local business serving local community, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's a really important point, isn't it? Because it's it's really important that who you're dealing with has an idea of the area, the economy, and what it can offer you from not just the bricks and mortar, but from a community aspect. From if it's a business, then from a business aspect.
Hmm.
Yeah, really important. Really important. Do you live in Coventry? Is that where you're from? Did you say? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I live in Coventry. I lived in Coventry for 25 years. So I would like to think I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And
Did spend the time.
been in a mortgage for 10 years. So, you've seen some ups and downs. I own my own property since 1998, so I understand what the market has done, what the interest rate has done to everyone.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so I would like to think I can provide that extra support to my clients.
Yeah, it sounds like you can. Sounds like you can. What would you attribute your growth to, Hitesh, so far?
Um, Putting your customers first before you do anything. Being honest and being upfront with any issue or anything you have, keeping client um, into picture on every stage, it does help you. As I mentioned a few times, that mortgage is a very complex transaction. There's so many moving parts. House purchase could have a multiple chains. There's a multiple parties involved. Somebody's buying a house. Is a very stressful time, even an exciting time, but it's a very stressful time. And having that clear communication with your customers, it gives you it gives them that somebody's looking after them, and that support, that honesty, that openness, putting them first, it gives that edge. Supposed to somebody's just turning out mortgage after mortgage after mortgage.
Yeah.
So each and every client of mine, I know exactly what's happening with their journey, where they are at. So it's just giving that personal touch.
Yeah, it's so important. It is, what do they say? It's the second most stressful thing to divorce. Um, or is divorce the second most stressful thing to house moving? I'm not sure.
One or
But
the other, but they're both stressful.
it's up there, isn't it? It's up there for sure. How do you balance your personal life with running a business? Just thinking about what you've just said about putting customers first and knowing where your customers are. You're obviously passionate about your business, but how do you carve out some personal life there?
Yeah, very, very important question. And anyone who's listening, thinking to start their own business, it doesn't matter mortgage or something else. When you're business owner, you never switch off.
Mm.
You're constantly working. When I said the constantly working, not but there's the mind is constantly ticking off. What's next? What's the next? Uh, my phone it never switch off. It stays on even when I go on a holiday. If my clients need something, the nature of business that I need to be available for my client. However, with the kind of work I do, I have a lot of flexibility. I don't have to work 9 till 5. I could work 8 in the evening till 8 in the morning. I could work 2 hours in the afternoon, take 4 hours off, and then start working 7 in the evening.
Yeah.
The flexibility it gives you as a mortgage broker it's really good. I'll look back when I used to work for a bank. You go at certain time, you come back home, you forget about it, but then you can't do the in between things that you always wanted to do. So, for example, my wife, she works from home as well, and
Okay.
every so often, if we got a little bit time, then we say, "Oh, shall we go for a walk in afternoon?" Me and her, then we go to Camden Wedge for a walk an hour. We come back, we work 1 hour extra in the evening.
Mm.
So it gives a lot of flexibility, and juggling the life, what you said, you got to find a way. You have to find a way. You got to put your personal needs first as well. Otherwise, you will burn out very soon.
Yeah, you got to think how sustainable it is. You mentioned there about the mind ticking over. So even though you can physically walk away from the business, as in like close the office door potentially, what's your sort of number one trick to switching the mind off as best you can?
Um, you you tackle the problem what it is. Ask yourself questions. Can this be done next day? Yes, it is. Then you leave it at that and put down in a priority list that does need to be sorted out next day. You switch yourself off that point. And most clients understand somebody send a query at 8 in the evening, even that you would love to do something about it, the chances are the lender's not going to be there, solicitor's not going to be there, estate agent's not going to be there. There's not a lot you can do until next morning. So then you can, you could tell yourself that, look, this is something can be wait till next day. And that's how you manage. Always ask yourself a question: does that need to be done right now at the state moment? If it's not, if you can wait, absolutely fine.
Love that. Ask yourself a question. That's so powerful. Thank you. I'm going to write that down for me. How
By the way, it's not mine. I have borrowed from somewhere. I heard it. So
Hey, that's okay. That's okay. I think you don't know what you don't know, right? So as soon as something
exactly.
lands, it's good to share. It's good to share.
Real.
What would you say, apart from that absolute gem that you've just shared there, what would you say has been your biggest learning?
Biggest learning is, I would say, becoming, owner of your own business means that you're no longer just an advisor.
Hmm.
You wear so many different hats. You got to think of how you're gonna how you're gonna manage your business. You got websites to take care of. You got social media to take care of. You got uh, clients that the list of clients that you need to communication with. You need to take care of that. You need to take care of finances. So within 8-10 hours a day that you work in, you wearing so many different hats, and you got to stay on top of your game to make sure that everything's running smoothly as possible. If you have an IT issue, you can't call somebody else. You got to sort yourself out.
Yeah, well, of you.
Yeah, so I would say that is the biggest learning curve for me. To going from an employed job to owner of a business means that all of a sudden, it's all start with you and it all ends with you. You're the one who has to sort the problem out. You can't go to anybody else.
Wearing those multiple hats. I literally had a picture of like all these different hats balanced up. Is that sustainable though, Hitesh? So is there a way of sort of sorting through those hats and thinking, I really don't, if I spent more time here and
Hmm.
outsourced that, I could help more people. Is there a way of or a time in which we say as a business owner, now it's time for me not to hold on to all of these responsibilities, delegate, outsource, employ?
Yeah,
What are your
yeah,
thoughts on that?
yeah, great. And the good thing with our business that we do get to talk to so many other mortgage brokers. They have grown and they expanded over the years.
Mm,
The great thing you can do is to, yeah, that you want to carry on advising on a mortgage, because one of the thing in our business that we have to have that competency status for us to continue. So you got to still write the business yourself, even that you business owner. But yes, the point will come where if you're spending, I would say, 10 hours a day just to doing your admin job to top of your work, then
yeah,
at that time, you know that you're going to need extra help. And at that point, you need to hire somebody to take care of that side of admin. It's all start from the admin work, and then you realize that you got more free of time.
yeah.
Within that free of time, then you're starting to generate more business. And at that point, you're going to need another mortgage advisor. Um, and that journey would continue until you have a 3 or 4 mortgage advisors, where there's you're gonna need somebody to look after all of those mortgage advisors and their supporting staff. And at that point, probably you want to see as bird's eye view about your business, and you're moving away from that. So I would say I'm still a few years away from that, but that is my aim, to see myself in 5 years running a successful brokerage.
Fantastic. You've just answered my last question then. As soon as you said in 5 years, I was like, that's my you stole my question. You stole my question. No, that's brilliant. It's good that you have that long-term vision. And yeah, my final question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? And just as important, do you have any advice for other business owners who are in a similar situation to you that's looking to grow?
Yeah, yeah. The advice I would give, I'm still relatively a new in a business. It's coming up to 3 years in January. Um, if you do want to start the business, go for it. There is never a right time. So do not wait for the right time to come, because it may never ever happen. So if you feel you're ready to make that move, make that move. And it's nothing comes easy, and there is nothing is free either. You will have to work really, really hard for every single business that you generate. Probably you're aware of that, Hannah, yourself, so do not take anything for granted, and keep working hard and put your customer first, and you will get where you need to be.
That's so important. Yeah, so important. Fantastic shares there. Thank you so much. Lots of insights for business owners to take away and implement into their business. Yeah, there's the rule that you have there for asking yourself questions is genius. So thank you very much for that. Thank you also for joining me on Business Spotlight. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. For now, I will say thank you and goodbye, but I know that we'll speak again.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks, Hitesh. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.